So Miles Morales has got a PlayStation 5 console design made by a fan that just looks absolutely incredible. The memes continue with Peter Parker's face, except this time showing a PlayStation 6 version, but it's actually for the better, right? We got some really cool things on there. And lastly, Sony expect to sell 7 million PlayStation 5s, or should I say, sorry, 7 million units, right, in its first year. So what console are you guys getting for the new gen? Let me know in the comments below. Is it the Xbox? Is it a PlayStation 5? Is it both? Let me know below. For me, it is just going to be the PlayStation 5 at first, but I'm super excited for new gen in general because I guess the window of opportunity is what it holds basically for all future games, so I'm really excited. But as always, if you're new to the channel, go ahead, click that big red subscribe button below because it makes you a much better human being, and let's try and crush 3 likes. That would be very cool. So kicking off the video, we have what you see in the background, an awesome Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales PlayStation 5 console. Now, at first when I see this, I was like, no way, is this the real deal, right? Because initially I see the screenshots that you're seeing in the background, but there is an actual trailer for this, which I'll link below, but it was created by a dude who goes by the name Giuseppe, and it was commissioned by Let's Go Digital. Now, like I said, I'll link the full trailer below, but just taking a look at these screenshots that you're seeing in the background alone feel like a must-have. Now, sadly, if you aren't aware, Insomniac did confirm a while back that unfortunately they won't have any exclusive consoles linked to Miles Morales. But that being said, I definitely hope someone creates a similar like third-party skin that you could possibly place over your console. I think that would be great. But at the same time, take into consideration, I keep saying it all the time, but this is not Spider-Man 2. So with that in mind, of course, it kind of gives you the excitement for an actual Peter Parker as a playable character again with Spider-Man 2 with a full-fledged story, even though that is what Miles Morales is going to have. But you know what I mean, it's not Spider-Man 2, but it's still going to be one hell of a game, so very exciting stuff. Now, on Instagram, a user who goes by the name Samuel created another 2 Peter Parkers, except they are the PlayStation 6 version, which of course is the joke here with just a remaster changing the, I guess, the main character, right? But what he is doing here is portraying Peter Parker with 2 entirely different face models. You got Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, and I think considering all the bad light, of course, on the character switches, well, not even switches, just the character, actor, remodeling, whatever you want to call it, being changed, all the threats that the devs have received as well. It's kind of nice to see the community, and especially an artist like this, and as this creative, should I say as well, take it and put a positive light in it after all, because it does look very legit in my opinion. Now, just a reminder why the PlayStation 5 controller is going to be insane for this Spider-Man Miles Morales game, because there was some news going around earlier today regarding the 3D audio, which of course is a big thing. But if you don't know what the whole, of course, big deal about it is, well, it's basically just, of course, making your game environment feel a lot more realistic, like you're actually in there, if that makes sense. Kind of, almost. You get where I'm going with this. It's meant to be more immersive, is probably the best word to use here. But that being said, I guess kind of scrapping the 3D audio, what is going to be really cool is a PlayStation 5 controller. So if you didn't know, for example, when you hold down the square button on the DualSense PlayStation 5 controller, which is to use the Venom Blast, you actually feel a crackle on the left side of the controller, and you will essentially feel the build up, and the sensation is then going to shift towards the right side of the controller when you release the square button. So that's kind of just one way to feel like you've actually got the power in your hands, quite literally, and I think that is going to be really cool. Second of all, there is going to be something similar for a stealth ability, and the controller is also going to be some sort of feedback to indicate where the attacks are coming from. Now, at this moment in time, they haven't exactly specified how it's going to do that. Is it going to be like a little vibration? Is the controller literally going to shake? I mean, you kind of don't exactly know. Is it going to be a sound? No idea. But what we do know is that this PlayStation 5 controller is just absolutely incredible. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be like a little vibration, maybe to the right or the left, and of course when they're right in front of you or above you, whatever it may possibly be, the entire control would just start vibrating. But nonetheless, that's cool. Now going on to the second to last point for that is that focusing mainly on combat, and this is where the integration with the haptic system of the DualSense PlayStation 5 controller is going to come into play and make the fighting experience even better. Now, we have seen the mentions of being able to feel shooting an arrow from a bow via the feedback on the DualSense controller. Now, Spider-Man does not, of course, use lethal weapons, but we will actually experience something similar for Spider-Sense and web slinging in Spider-Man Miles Morales. So, again, just these small little features, I'm really excited to see how it's gonna, I guess, change our gameplay experience. And of course, it's hard for us all to even try and imagine this because we don't have the PlayStation 5 controller in our hands, right? Unless you are in Japan and you are a part of the media of some kind and you've been lucky to actually experience that, but majority of us at this moment in time, you just kind of got to imagine it, right? But I'm really excited to see how this game is going to play out because Sony, I guess, is really, I guess, just putting that light on this game, and we know it's their big game with the launch and so forth. So, I mean, this is a game that is, I guess, specifically meant to show that true next-gen power, and they've even said it so many times in different articles. So again, really excited to see how that's going to go down. Now, lastly, in other news, the PlayStation CEO predicts that PlayStation 5 will sell almost double the units that PlayStation 4 sold within its first year. Now, there are a ton of different figures floating around, but nonetheless, we are talking billions in revenue, like billions and billions. But I'd love to know how many, I guess, PlayStation 5s have been pre-ordered as of right now, especially compared to Xbox. Now, I do feel due to the exclusives and it being a new gen console that it will perform better in terms of sales, because of course when a new console is released, there's usually a dry patch of new games on that console. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But PlayStation 5's lineup definitely does look more juicy, I guess you could say, compared to Xbox at this moment in time. But in my opinion, I mean, games like Spider-Man, again, this is what Sony are actually literally using to their advantage at this moment in time for their console being the PlayStation 5. So again, we'll have to see how that all goes down, but nonetheless, there's a ton of really cool games set to be released on both consoles. But guys, leave all your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think? So like I said, just get in the comments and share your thoughts on that stuff. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content if you haven't already. But I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.